Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I come to you with bad news. Yes, more bad news. Manchester United's fixture against Leeds this weekend is off, as is Chelsea against Liverpool. Now, the rest of the fixtures from the weekend will go ahead. We saw the previous Manchester United game against Palace postponed as well. All of the Premier League fixtures, in fact, all of football was cancelled in England, right down to grassroots, and that decision has followed on to this weekend, but it only affects Manchester United against Leeds and Chelsea against Liverpool. I'll tell you why that's the case in this video, and obviously we'll bring you my reaction to that in this video as well. Get your thoughts in the comments below and make sure you're subscribing to the channel too. Obviously plenty of videos coming out despite the fact games are getting postponed for Manchester United. We have got a game this Thursday against Sheriff in the Europa League, so I'll be bringing you reaction to that game and obviously build up to that game as well. And during the international break, while we've got to wait for that Manchester City game, I've got plenty more content coming your way, including a video which I recorded this morning, which is my revised Premier League predictions, which will be coming out very soon. So get hitting that subscribe button, and also head over to twitch.tv/AdamMcKola and follow and subscribe over there as well. Now, these games are suspended, postponed for Manchester United against Leeds. Frustrating because, first of all, you know, obviously we know what happened and why the games were suspended due to the mourning period in England for the Queen's death. Now, I know these kind of plans were put into place many, many years ago, and I kind of understood it around the funeral. So I expected United against Leeds to get called off anyway. But the fact that the previous games got called off has caused a bigger issue, because now Manchester United and Chelsea and Liverpool and Leeds have 2 weekends without a game. That it didn't have to be that case. Do you know what I mean? The police and the government all told Premier League clubs that their games could go ahead in the previous weekend. So Palace against Man United and all that should have gone ahead, and they haven't. And now you're seeing teams in a season where there's fixture congestion. Chelsea, Liverpool, United are all in European competition. You're seeing more fixtures delayed. You've got a World Cup coming up. You know, what's that going to do for players' injuries after December? What's that going to do for players' fitness after that period of time, especially if these clubs are still in Europe? So I think it's going to cause a massive, massive issue for these players and for these squads further down the line, unless, which you don't want to happen, you know, these United get knocked out of cup competitions early. You don't want that to happen. It will make these games easier to fit in, obviously. But if United are competing on 4 fronts, it's going to cause an issue for us. Now, this Man United Leeds game, Chelsea Liverpool, why just those 2 games are being called off? Now, the reason those 2 games are being called off is because they're Category A games in terms of policing. So there needs to be required a higher policing presence for Manchester United Leeds than, say, if it was Manchester United against Brighton, for example. If it was Manchester United versus Brighton at the weekend, that game probably goes ahead. These 2 games are closer to the funeral, and therefore more policing is needed to be in London around that funeral. So I think they'll be calling police from different police forces down into London, which would then have an issue on policing at the game when a higher police presence is needed, or, you know, assumed so for this game. Now, they could have easily, now I know this wouldn't be ideal and it's unfair, but they could have easily just said, all right, no away fans at these games. That takes away the issue for any possible fan conflict, and it means the police presence doesn't have to be that high. I just think it's a little bit mad for these teams to be having 2 weeks without football and an international break coming up. So Manchester United's next game is going to be United versus City, United against City at the Etihad on October the 2nd, so that's like 20 days away. United have got to wait an incredibly long time for that. Now, you have the benefit of, okay, maybe, you know, because Manchester United have this period of time where there's no games, we've just got that Sheriff game, it gives Erik ten Hag like a pre-season period where he can get his players fit, he can get his players up to speed, coaching, tactics, all those kind of things can be worked on the training ground. That's great, and hopefully that will benefit us in the long run. But you need these fixtures, and especially when we've built up this run of form as well. Albeit we lost that game in the Europa League, in the Premier League we did build up a fair amount of form. You know, 4 wins on the spin. We were going into that Palace game confident. Leeds at home is usually a whole bunch of goals and 3 points for Manchester United. So it is really, really, really frustrating But Manchester United and Leeds, Chelsea and Liverpool are the games that are postponed. So Sunday's ruined. I think there are a few games going ahead still on Sunday. Although I do think Arsenal's game against PSV has been affected and that's been called off. Maybe again due to the police presence that will be required for a big European away following from Eindhoven. So games being cancelled left, right and centre. But as we said, we have got that game against Sheriff coming up now. And it probably means that the manager will be playing a pretty strong team in that one. You'd usually expect if we had Crystal Palace and then Leeds, either side of that game, maybe he plays, you know, a second string like we saw against Real Sociedad in the first game. So maybe now we're going to see Manchester United's, or close to Manchester United's strongest 11. It also gives the likes of, you know, I know this period of time isn't ideal, but it gives the likes of Martial and all those kind of guys to get fit. We did a video the other day on the importance of Anthony Martial. I think he's massively, massively important to the way Manchester United want to play, especially as he's our only real number 9 in terms of a player that can lead the line, hold the ball up, bring others into play. Cristiano Ronaldo's very, very different. And of course, you know, we haven't really got Marcus Rashford played in that middle, you know, through the middle against Arsenal. I think his best performances this season have come from the left. That's where he scored his goals. He scored against Arsenal when Ronaldo come on the pitch. He scored against Liverpool when Martial came onto the pitch. So I do think Ronaldo's performances are better when they are from, Rashford's performances are better when they're from a wider position. But man, I'm so frustrated. So frustrated. The Premier League just releasing a statement as well. The Premier League will resume this weekend after a pause to the season as a mark of respect following the passing of Queen Elizabeth. 7 of the 10th match week 8 fixtures will be played, with 3 postponed due to events surrounding the final. And someone replies straight away at Jamie Brown, cancel a match in Manchester on Sunday for a funeral that takes place on Monday in London. Well done. Yeah, common sense seemingly going out of the window. What's the other game that was postponed? Brighton against Crystal Palace. Again, probably due to the fact that it falls into that category A. It's a derby, isn't it? Brighton against Palace. So the games that are going ahead: Aston Villa versus Southampton, Forest against Fulham on Friday, Wolves Man City, Newcastle Bournemouth, Spurs Leicester on Saturday, and then Sunday you got Brentford Arsenal, Everton West Ham. It'd be nice if Spurs, Arsenal, and Man City all drop points, wouldn't it, in that game extra that they've got. But there you have it. Another boring weekend without Manchester United ahead. And then we got the international break. Oh, does it get any worse? Anyway, let us know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. Remember, keep it locked by hitting that subscribe button. Head over to twitch.tv/AdamMcKola as well. And we'll have plenty more coming your way. See you in a bit.